Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Armored Combat Escalation Service podcast. I am your host, Brandon, also known as Cattra, Kell, and with me today, sitting in the channel right now, is Tirkron. How's it going, Tirkron?
Pretty good.
And we also have ProLink. He is currently here as well. Hey, ProLink, how's it going?
Good, man. How you doing?
Pretty good. So right off the bat, I want to wish everyone, or at least those who celebrate, or if not, enjoyed the holiday, a happy holidays. I hope it was good for everybody. I know for me, it involved a lot of work. But let's move on to the news as well. Of course, the A.C.E.S faction. I say this at the beginning of every podcast, so I'm going to continue to say it. It's kind of formed into a tradition. The A.C.E.S faction is now set up on MWO. If you do not have tags in MWO, anyone who does have tags is able to send you an invite, so please let someone know. Second of all, this is something new in the news. Twitch went through a lot of problems. I think they got a database breach. I think it was something like that. All passwords needed to be reset. I got the A.C.E.S Twitch password reset, but if you reset your password, the Twitch keys all update as well. So if you did have a Twitch key for the A.C.E.S Twitch channel, please let someone in management or myself or someone like Tirkon or Adam know, and we can get you the new stream key so you'll be able to stream on the A.C.E.S channel again. It wasn't an optional thing. It's something that you had to do to reactivate, or quote unquote reactivate, your Twitch account. So yeah, so if you need another key, or if you want to continue streaming with the A.C.E.S account, let one of us know. We'll get you the new key. I'll have to apologize. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. I think over the weekend I worked myself into a little bit of a sickness. But the show must go on. So let's move into actually I should ask Tirkron, have there been any big news things in the unit recently? I'm going to apologize because I haven't been here a whole lot due to work. So Tirkron, what's been going on with the unit? How are we doing in CW and stuff like that?
CW's been a big push lately. The just before the CW event a couple weekends ago, we A.C.E.S signed a contract with the Draconis Combine, specifically because we wanted to go out back up to the clan border and fight the clans. And that's what we did. We've been pushing back against the clans, and we've gotten 8 planets tagged since going up to that border. We're slowly, eating our way in through both Clan Ghost Bear, Clan Smoke Jaguar, and Clan Wolf. We are expecting to have a new unit contract vote put up either tonight or tomorrow night. That's Monday or Tuesday night, to determine where A.C.E.S goes next. Do we stay with the Combine? Do we go up to the Free Rosselhog? Do we jump over to Steiner? Where do we go? What do we do? That's going to be determined by the membership, as it usually is. The unit leaders will point out the lay of the land, so to speak, of what's going on, what the factions look like, what areas are going to guarantee us fights, and what areas are just going to be boring as sin. So, but beyond that, there has not been a great deal of other big news within ACES. There is a push from one of our members, Rico. She would like to get a team together for the next season of MRBC, which is coming up soon. She has a thread started on the ACES forums. if you have any interest at all about playing in MRBC, or even if you don't know what MRBC is, I would suggest you go check the thread out. It has a link to MRBC. It will tell you all the pertinent information that you need. Uh, I would like to participate, but I think my schedule is going to be too busy in the next month or so for me to be counted on, as a regular participant for it. So I'm just signed up as a substitute. But there are a couple other people that have expressed interest and that are signing up to be a regular player for it. So if you have any interest, if you aren't sure what it is, go check the Rico's thread out on the ACES forums and respond to it when you've determined yes or no if you want to participate. I would suggest doing that soon. I'm not sure exactly when the new season starts, but the sooner you sign up,
Soonish.
the
I also
better.
think it's season 5. It's been going on for a little
Yes.
bit now. I mean, it's not as old as like RHOD or anything like that, but I think it's the second oldest league that's still operating.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think Run Hot or Die is the oldest. MRBC might be second, and then Merrick is third.
Yeah, because
But
I'm pretty sure Merrick is only on what, season 4? Maybe it's on season 5
they
now.
just finished up, or they're just finishing up season 4. We
Yeah,
did
so
because Aces participated in what, season 1 and
1,
2.
2, and 4.
Yeah, we skipped out on 3. 4, we began the preliminaries for, but we just had too many commitments going on at the time between Run Hot or Die and several other events that were
Yeah,
going
people are
on. That
starting to get burnt out having to
so,
play competitive almost
but
every single night.
yeah, so maybe with
Big
season
props to those
5
people
of Merrick.
who can do that as well. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah,
Jesus,
yeah,
I couldn't do that.
yeah. So MRBCs would be a nice thing for people that want some more competitive play for Aces. That's a good place to get your feet wet. Uh, the way MRBC is structured is similar to college sports where there are separate divisions. So Aces, I don't think we've participated in MRBC in a long time. I'm not entirely certain. I think the last time we participated was actually before I joined the unit. So I think we would either be placed in Division B or C, not Division A. So our chances of running up against someone like SJR or Lords would be very, very small. Probably actually close to nothing. But you know, we'd probably be facing teams like we did for the Aces Invitational Tournament, teams that have some competitive nature, that have played competitive before, but are not necessarily top tier. Probably the guys that are good, but when they go up against SJR, it's a foregone conclusion who's going to win. So it's it's something to look into. I would definitely once again suggest that anyone who has expressed interest in competitive play within Aces definitely check Rico's thread out and sign up if you are at all interested.
So let's move on to our first roundtable general talk discussion, which is the trash can of a mech that everyone thought was a joke, but actually wasn't a joke, but when it actually turned out to be a really good joke, but it actually turns out being a pretty good mech, which is the urban mech. And so I'm going to open it up here. If anyone wants to X up, and let's talk about the urban mech. What's your thoughts from what you've seen, or anything about the urban mech at all? Go ahead there, Tiercon.
I am very excited for the Urban Mech. I was one of the first people signing up when Russ actually announced, yes, this is no longer just going to be the April Fool's joke it was a year ago. We're seriously considering putting the Urban Mech in. We just need to see how many people will seriously spend money on it. I got the top tier package of it, so I'm getting both the early bird content and the collector's edition content for it. Yeah, I'm kind of a mech whore when it comes to package deals like that, but the I'm I'm loving, the look of it. It looks phenomenal. Just, the concept art was great. The in-game modeling on it looks phenomenal. It's it's everything I would hope uh for the Urban Mech. The scaling on it I think is very good. It is short, it's stubby, it's, not wide like I was afraid that it might turn into. It's it's an urban mech. It's a little trash can of a mech that is not meant to be out in, out really outside the tight confines of an urban environment. So it's looking very interesting. I've watched the preview videos that have been put up by NGNG and PGI. The Warhorn I thought was, kind of funny. The little trash can cockpit item I think is hilarious. I absolutely love that little tongue-in-cheek reference to the Urban Mech there. Watching the sneak peek that was put up for it, I'm honestly surprised that with the largest XL engine and speed tweak that the Urban Mech actually can run up to 106 kph and still pack enough armor and firepower to be something of a danger. So it's I don't think it's going to replace anyone's Spider or Firestarter or Hugin, but it's definitely going to be able to go to toe probably with things like the Kit Fox, maybe the Adder, probably the Jenner, definitely with the Locust. I would actually say taking the Urban Mech over the Locust would be preferable, but it's it's looking good. I'm very excited for tomorrow when I get mine. I know there are a number of units that are setting up for Tuesday night. They are not going to be doing CW. They're not going to be doing anything but Urban Mech brawls. They're going to be in private, fights. Just
Herbalition
all,
Derby, if you
yep,
would.
yep, all Urban Mechs all the time, and just going to town with them. I would like to do something like that with Aces, but I don't know how many people actually bought a Urban Mech, so I haven't suggested it. We'll see. Um, I don't think I'll take it directly into CW until I've got it, at least speed tweaked. So it's probably going to be a little while before I'm running it in any major matches. Probably take it to the solo queue a couple times and, maybe the group queue a little, but until it's basiced out and I've got it tweaked to the and built to the point that I'm, really enjoying it, it'll probably stay in the back of the hangar for a little while before it, gets into the major fights that I usually am involved in.
Go ahead there, Hell's Dog.
I think Tycon said everything, other than the 360 Death Blossom. Whoa!
Yeah, you like that little April Fool's video
I
there?
I can't wait. I need to kill all them atlases myself.
It's
got to be done.
I'm honestly wondering how many, new players are going to have watched that video, not realized it's an April Fool's joke, and be seriously wondering why they can't actually do that or where the special attack button is. And of course they're going to get trolled by someone saying, "Just hit Alt F4."
I think they fooled
you.
They fooled you by making you believe that that's a joke. That's what it does.
So
yeah, and the I think they already released the quirks and all that. But yeah, no, definitely excited for the Urban Mech, and I'm actually quite surprised about if I can use this word properly, the amount of swag you get along with it. As far as items and stuff like that. But I'm not here trying to sell the Urban Mech package. I am here to talk about Battle Mechs. So let's move on to our next topic. I think everyone's excited for the Urban Mech. I think we can quite clearly say that without anything else. We saw a little bit of a new look at the new Community Warfare map. Does anyone have any thoughts of that? We also, I think Phil provided some nice overhead shots of it as well. See if I can find that for people who might not have seen them. Go ahead there, Tierkron.
Yeah, I saw them on No Guts, No Galaxy. Bombadil had put them up in the forums. They are I was excited when we first saw the sneak peek of it from one of the weekend updates a couple weeks ago. Seeing the screenshots now, the overhead views, it's definitely looks interesting. Um, it's kind of a cross between Alpine, uh, Forest Colony, and Crimson Straits, from what I can see. The Looking at it, I'm thinking that this might, this map, being that all the pools of water, the swampy little lakes are red, I'm thinking that this might be on, the same planet as Crimson Straits is based on, but it's located up in the more alpine regions of it because there are a number of large mountain ridges with snow on them. There's a lot of uh, pines and large spruce like forest around it. It's it's very interesting looking. I'm thinking that they don't show where the generators are located, these sub generators. You can see in the overhead map where the main Omega generator and gun is located, almost directly in the center of the base. The gates are far forward of it. It's I'm thinking that they've kind of taken a similar approach to what they did with Grim Portico, and that the sub generators may be placed far out of the way that you cannot easily rush to them, destroy them. The other thing is the look at where the generator is placed on the gun makes me think also that they are taking another lesson from Grim Portico and making it difficult to shoot if you are trying to hug the generator. You have to have some distance on it, which opens you up for, fire from the defenders. Oh, actually, someone just messaged me. You can see the generators, at least one or two of the sub generators in the screenshots. There's one all the way to the right hand side in a small alcove. There looks to be a second one that might be all the way in the back as well. And the third one looks to be all the way on the left hand side. So yeah, they're really kind of out of the way. There is cover to get to them, to run between ridges and some of the buildings to get to them, but there's enough open area and defender cover that it's not going to be an easy task taking them out like it is on Sulphurous and on Boreal. It'll be a much more difficult slog, similar to what Hellbore and Grim Portico have been, which, if that's indeed the case, it shows PGI is learning from, as they make maps, they're taking community feedback, they're seeing what works, what doesn't work, what maps the community is really enjoying and feels are balanced, and what maps, are not balanced properly and favor either the defender or the attacker too much. So it's where I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful this is going to be another great addition to the map cycle. Uh, if it is, I'm very curious to see what the next one's going to be. We've gotten, a nice cold snowy map. We've got a sulphurous rift, the sulphurous rift map. So we're slowly making our way through all of the original, maps that were for the game back during closed beta. I'm interested to see which one they go with next as a concept. Do we base it off Terra Therma, or do we base it off something like Viridian Bog? Or is there going to be something similar to HPG? I know a lot of people have been crying out for a heavily urbanized map, that you cannot easily jump jet around, that there are huge buildings blocking the way, that it is street by street fight. So we'll see
A
what
lot
they.
of people have been asking for a very heavy city type map for both CW and also regular game.
Yeah, so we'll see what they develop. Maybe the next one's going to be that urban area, and it'll be similar to what River City was. There'll be some open areas, like maybe a park or a large square in front of some like civic buildings, and I don't know. It'll be interesting, or they could completely surprise us and have something out of the ballpark that no one was expecting. Maybe an underground map that the attackers are dropped off in a dropship and have to go descend through a tunnel system to get to the an open box canyon that where the gun's located or something. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Go ahead there, Dead Metal.
So I think this new map is going to be perfect to run a three urban mech drop deck. I will personally be running that in CW. It looks nice. It kind of reminds me, like the overhead reminds me a little bit of what is it, River City, or the one with the disco deck that everyone likes to either hide
Crimson
under.
Strike.
Crimson Straits.
Yeah, Crimson Straits. That's what it reminds me of. But actually, I'd really like to see that that kind of a heavy, like big city urban map. It would be nice.
Definitely. I just want to point out how beautiful the map looks because it actually has color. I mean, the last couple of Community Warfare maps have had color as well, which is really nice because it actually makes things look different.
Yes.
But I want to point out that in that Bombadil NGNG post, the second screenshot, I really like even the layout of the quote-unquote defending base type of thing because it actually looks like some sort of military base. Like you got a few buildings off to the side that look like garrisons, and you got what looks to be a runway and stuff like it. It actually looks like a military installation. Like it looks good.
Yeah, there are things there that look like they could be fuel bunkers. Look to be 3 VTOL pads there next to that runway. You see, like, I think that's either a blast mark, maybe it's a crater near the runway.
Yeah.
It's it does look like what you would kind of expect a military installation to look like in BattleTech, which is it's something surprisingly we have not seen a great deal of yet in MWO. A lot of the maps that we have gotten are not very big on the military aspect of the game. Even the CW maps, the base layouts, and a lot of them do not, really spark, don't really bring to mind that this is a military installation charged with defending the planet from, invaders. This one actually does look like it. So, let's see if this is a trend that will continue or not.
Let's move on to our next one because I think we can all agree we're looking forward to the next Community Warfare map. Look forward to what they might be doing with other ones in the future. But I think we all agree it looks good. If not, you can correct me. But let's move on. I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100%, I'm pretty sure, not this patch, but the next patch after, which would be the 21st. I'm pretty sure that the clan reinforcements come out, and for those who don't know what those ones are, those are the ones you can only buy with real money right now in the gift store as individuals. They're not part of a pack or anything like that. I think those come out now. Whether they're going to be out for MC or C bills, that I don't know. I hope they're for Sea-Bills, but because I'm looking forward to one or two of the mechs. Of course, the jump jetting direwolf being the biggest one. The gargoyle also on my shopping list, if you would. Just wondering what you guys' thoughts, or if you've even looked at any of the reinforcement variants at all, kind of eyeing them. What you guys think? Go ahead there again, Tierkron.
I've looked at them. I actually received the jumping dire whale as a gift. It's fun. I don't know if I would necessarily take it over some of the other direwolf builds I have, though. The gargoyle with that laser fist, yeah, that looks like it could be interesting. I've seen a number of people running that, and it looks like it, might be a fun little build. The other ones, though, none of them really jumped out at me and said, really say, buy me, buy me.
Yeah, the summoner one was really kind of disappointing to me. Out of all the things they could do with the summoner, it does absolutely zero things new.
A number of them are like that, though. The way the omnipods are set, you could almost do the same thing with pre-existing omnipods. The Nova, for instance, the Nova you can easily recreate with the already existing chassis and omnipods. The the Stormcrow you can almost remake. I believe you have to cut you can't have as many lasers or that exact number of lasers or missile slots though, but it's
That's the
close.
Warhawk C, right?
The Stormcrow I'm talking about.
Oh, sorry, Stormcrow.
Yeah, the Warhawk though, yeah, you can make something similar. The only difference is that center torso slot with an energy hard point there.
Yeah, because I mean the left and right arm already had the in the prime already had the 2 energy. It just gets you literally that center torso energy, which if you set it up correctly, that can give you, let's see here, that could get you 6 energy on the Warhawk, which I mean you could do something with that, but
the Timberwolf, I could see that one being picked up by a number of people, mainly for the omnipods, because the side torsos are similar to what is on the S, but the main difference being they don't have the hard coded jump jets in them. So you've got the 2 missile slots,
right.
but you don't have
that
the
was
jump
the big
jets.
thing, right? They switched from when the S came out, they switched from having jump jets to be in and then they hard locked them, which somewhat.
And I had said this when we first saw the variants listed for the Timberwolf, that I was surprised they included the jump jet version. I mean the jump jet variant over this particular one that's in the reinforcement pack. I would have thought that one would have been in the initial invasion pack, and the jump jet version would have been in the reinforcement. But PGI did what it did, and I'm thinking though, that the reinforcement Timberwolf is the going to be picked up mainly for those omnipods. I don't know if the depending on how the mechs are released into the in-game store, if they're released only for only for MC for a little while, then you probably won't be able to purchase the omnipods separately.
No, I don't think you can. If you, I think you'd have to buy the mechs for MC and then swap the pods around.
You'd have to, yeah. So I believe, if the mechs are released for C-Bills, I could easily see people not buying, if they've already got 3 Timberwolves, not buying that 4th full Timberwolf because of just the overall expense of the mech itself, and then just buying those side torso omnipods instead. I could easily see someone doing that and switching out on the Timberwolf as the side torsos to keep the 2 missile hardpoints but lose the jump jets, and only keep the 1 jump jet that's in the center torso for mobility purposes. So yeah, it'll. I don't know.
It's one of those things we'd have to wait and see. One of the things I will point out, though, is I'm looking at some of the variants here. With the release of these new pods, a lot of the clan mechs are going to be able to run dual AMS systems. The Ice Fridge will be able to do one. The Nova will be able to run dual AMS. Actually, potentially triple AMS on the Nova. Want to point that out there. If you use the Nova S, because it's got ECM in the center torso, and then you put the new pods on, the left torso and the right torso also have AMS. So you could actually run a triple AMS Nova, which, I mean, just for kicks, I guess.
Yeah.
But there's that. I think there was one or two more as well, which you're now able to run dual or more AMS.
Yeah, there's at least 3 or 4 that can do it. I don't know how many clanners are going to be running dual AMS though. Inner Sphere does not seem to utilize the missile fire as much as the clans do. Some of the pugs will bring heavy missile boats because they're used to using them in the solo queues and racking up huge amounts of damage. In CW, you really don't see a lot of the Inner Sphere units bringing, the organized Inner Sphere units bringing a lot of heavy missile just because of the amount of tonnage you need to commit to something like that. Now that being said, there are, I think, 1 or 2 units that do bring a lot of heavy LRM fire mechs as part of their, mixed waves. But it really seems that it's only a benefit, the LRM heavy fire support builds are only a benefit for the clans. You see constantly Warhawks that have been converted into heavy missile boats. The Mad Dog, the Troll Dog variant, which has the 3 missile slots in either side torso. You see a ton of them running around with either 6 LRM-5s or 6 LRM-10s. But the Summoner, you see the missile boat variant of that a good deal. Even the Stormcrow, you do see a number of Stormcrows running LRMs, but beyond that, there are the clans seem to be the only ones that are constantly bringing heavy missile support. The most Inner Sphere groups don't seem to have embraced that. I don't know if that's because they don't dare, get someone close enough to, spot constantly for those LRMs, or if, it's just a feature of Inner Sphere LRMs that the lock-on time for them is different, or the because the firing rate on Inner Sphere versus Clan LRMs are different. If that's the reason why, but I don't think we'll see a lot of clan mechs bringing dual AMS. I don't see a lot of clan mechs bringing even single AMS.
Yeah, that's a big thing, and I think clans benefit a bit more from carrying AMS over Inner Sphere. And before you guys raise pitchforks and try to crucify me, because the Inner Sphere, unless you're chain firing it all fires in one volley, so you get one big wave. Meaning, if you're only running one AMS, it's not going to take as many out as vice versa if you run one AMS, because the clan LRMs come in stream. I'm pretty sure someone did the math. You actually shoot down more or something like that, vice versa. So the more AMS you can boat, more or less, if you can boat AMS on clans, I think it becomes more beneficial. I'll have to revisit that. Maybe they might have changed that, because I think that was before they changed a couple things with how LRMs operate again. I'm not sure. But let's move on. Let's talk about, man, this is starting to feel like a really big let's talk about clans, baby. Let's talk about okay. Um, Wave 3 was announced, and I don't think we really talked about it a whole lot. For those who don't know, that includes such major mechs as the Cauldron-born and the Shadowcat, and 2 other mechs that don't really matter. So, no, they also include the Gladiator, and I'm going to mess up saying this because I think it's the Hankyu, right? No?
You could just call it the Arctic Cheetah.
Well, I know it's the Arctic Cheetah, but I mean, let's be serious here. That's what they got to listen
Cheater.
to. But yeah, those were announced. They're out at the usual clan price pack for Wave 3. I'm just gonna throw it out there. I bought it right away. Whatever.
Yeah, same here.
I wanted the Shadowcat. I wanted the Cauldron-born. Those are 2 really good mechs. The Arctic Cheetah actually looks really, in my opinion, looks really good. I think people are saying it's probably going to become the best clan light in the game, just because it's actually able to move fast. That being said, I'm not really understanding where everyone's saying like clan light mechs are dead type of thing. I see them you can do pretty good in them. You just gotta play it different than the Inner Sphere mechs, but that's a side tangent rant for another day. But yeah, what was your guys' first reaction to Clan Wave 3, and what are your current thoughts on it? The floor is now open to anyone who X's up.
Cauldron-born's gonna be like the Gaussjäger or the Gaussapult. I feel like we're gonna see that's gonna be a pretty popular build, I think. Cramming 2 Gauss on there and then as much ammo. Because I think that one of the variants has mask.
Yes.
Not on the Cauldron-born.
Or no, not on Cauldron-born. That's Shadowcat, Arctic Cheetah, and Gladiator all have mask. Speaking of which, did we ever get explanation for how mask is going to work? I don't think so.
No, we have not received it. The only mechs that are getting mask are the Shadowcat and Executioner. The Cauldron-born and the Arctic Cheetah do not get mask.
Okay. Yeah. Well. Yeah. First of all, let's talk about Wave 3, and then maybe speculate on how mask could be implemented. So, yeah, as we were saying, let's continue on before I keep railroading us down different conversations. So thoughts on well, first of all, let's talk about the Executioner, because that's going to be the big guy in it. I think it's a little, I don't want to say underwhelming, but I don't think it's going to find a role, especially compared to the Direwolf, when the Direwolf finally gets its jump jets. Because the biggest thing for the Executioner is that with mask, it's actually able to go pretty quickly. We're talking probably about probably about gargoyle speeds.
In the canon lore for the Executioner, when it has mask enabled, it can get up to 86 kph.
Yeah, so standard non-quirked gargoyle speeds. Yeah, so it's going to be a fast little mech, and it's also got jump jets is the other big pro for it. It's also got a couple, if I think correctly here, it's actually got some pod space as well, or so. You can play around with it a lot more. I mean, the Executioner D variant, which I believe is the special variant that comes with it, in its right arm has 7 energy alone, so that arm's probably going to get thrown on everything. But go ahead.
I think it's going to be like the clan's version of the Highlander. Unfortunately, until there's some sort of, generalized revision to how the jump jets work in the game.
I agree. Like I was saying, pretty much all the things that make it unique can be individually somewhat done on better assault mechs. So if I was a clan pilot, and I was going into community warfare, unless I really needed to scrape my tonnage somewhere by 5 points, and I had it jump jetting Direwolf, which is all coming out this month supposedly, potentially for MC or C builds. We don't know yet. Really, for 5 tons, I'd probably still be taking the Direwolf because it can utilize its pods better, its jump jets and stuff like that. I'd probably still be taking a Direwolf over an Executioner. So I don't really see the role for the Executioner somewhat. And all the weapon hard points look to be low slung on the arms, which will be a downside again. Same thing the Direwolf does, but somewhat better.
The thing I'm thinking with the Executioner is versus the Direwolf is how the armor and hitboxes are going to stack up. I know the Direwolf has better armor overall in terms of the number of points that it carries, but we've all seen the Direwolf CT is one gigantic target. I mean, Direwolves almost predominantly get destroyed because they just get CT'd very, very quickly most of the time because they've got that huge hulking nose to them that everybody fires on. And if they don't get CT'd, they usually have their torsos taken out rather quickly because the side torsos are very, very squishy on it. It in the Warhawk, one of those assaults losing a side torso in the midst of a match is not something that happens infrequently. It's almost not a question of if you'll lose a side torso. It's a question of when you'll lose one. The Executioner, with the way that it is a more humanoid, not a bird, style, architecture to it. The Executioner's hitboxes could be very different. It could be a more well-balanced mech in terms of its hitboxes and the way its armor placement is. So it could be more survivable than both the Warhawk and the Direwolf, which is dangerous, especially for a clan mech. A clan mech that's even more survivable than they are already. That's a scary thing, especially when you tack onto it that in short bursts it could run up to 86 kph and still carry at least a Timberwolf's amount of weaponry. That's not something that most Intersphere pilots are gonna be lining up going, yeah, I'll take that on. Bring it on. Come at me, bro.
Yeah, and I mean we never know as well. They might actually give it armor quirks as well instead of weapon quirks, just because of, like you said, it's an assault mech that can take a Timberwolf's amount of armory. Like, you never know. They might just give it more of a support quirk stat type thing, and if they do that, then it's even more survivable, which, hey, why not?
And if you look at the way the configurations are set in their stock, the Prime is definitely a long range fighter, with the 2 ER large and the Gauss rifle. It's long range. Yeah, it's low slung, but on some maps it doesn't matter. You just get into you have someone foolish enough to run out in front of you and they're 700, 800, 900 meters out. He's gonna pop you with all three of those weapons before you can probably even notice that he's there. The A variant definitely is more of a brawler with 3 large pulse and 4 ER mediums and the machine guns. That's going to be one of those mechs that you turn a corner and run face first into it. He's going to ruin your day. The B with the Ultra AC-20 and ER medium laser and ER PPC, that's kind of a brawler with some ranged ability to it. I think that one's probably going to be the one variant that's not going to be seen as much. It's probably going to have a lot of people tweaking it to not carry that AC-20 by its lonesome. The D, which is, as you noted earlier, is the special variant that you only got if you ordered early. That one that's gonna be probably the scariest one
Yeah.
next to the A.
What
That
was
thing,
it? 7, 8, 9, 10 energy, 2 missile? Like,
yeah,
jeez.
yeah. I mean, it comes with 2 SRM-6, an ER small laser for two small pulse lasers, a large pulse laser, 3 medium pulse lasers, and then another 3 small pulse lasers. So 5 small pulse lasers, an ER small laser, 3 medium pulse lasers, 1 large pulse laser, and 2 SRM-6. Yeah, that thing, that
I
sucker's
could
gonna run
easily.
hot, but he can hurt you
Well,
very, very
I could
badly.
easily see someone dropping even the missiles and dropping the small pulse and all that, and just doing all medium pulses, or doing something like 2 large pulse and a bunch of mediums. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
I could easily see, someone switching that right arm out into some of the other variants to supplement if they keep the like on the B. If someone does decide to keep that Ultra AC-20, that right arm with the ER-PPC, that thing's definitely getting swapped out probably for either the arm on the Omnipod arm of the A or the Omnipod arm of the D. Uh, that is actually a very scary thought. Even just the 4 energy slots added next to that, AC-20. That's going to put a hurt on someone. So, yeah, the executioner. The big question is going to be the armor, I think, on it in the hitboxes. If the hitboxes and armor prove to be better than the Warhawk and the Direwolf, we'll probably see the executioner running around a great deal.
Of course, we also have the Cauldron Born. I know there was a lot of somewhat QQ about the look of it because my hip actuators and not actually being this squat tiny thing, but I mean that's if you go by original TRO stuff. A lot of the more I know like some of the newer minis that Ironwind put out, as well as I'm pretty sure in MechWarrior 4 it had the legs like that as well. That's probably what FD was going for when he designed it, was some of the newer miniatures as well as what was provided. Like what I think David White did the designs for the MechWarrior 4 one. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think that sounds right. I think it was White that redid it.
But we'll say it looks nice. It's still, let's be honest, it's still really flat in the torso area. It's really, I think it's going to be something interesting. I'm not sure how well it will translate to in game. But it's still flat, kind of, I would say, sort of like fighter jet inspired looking. It's going to be one of those ones that will be interesting to see where it's utilized. Again, just wait and see type of thing. Its role will probably... I could see a lot of units using it. I'm not sure if it'll replace, because I think it's 65 tons, which I believe is the same as the Loki, I want to say.
Yes, it's the same weight as the Hellbringer.
Yeah, so I don't think it will replace it because of the value that ECM provides. But you never know. It is very... I could see it being a ballistic, because the Hellbringer isn't very ballistic heavy. Actually, I don't think it has a ballistic slot.
The Hellbringer does. It has 2 in the...
Does that 2?
It has 2 in the right torso.
Right,
and
they
one
stack
of the arms has
I just
1.
remember that my favorite... This is how often I play Clan Mix. My favorite build for the Hellbringer, aside from the hilarious Wub, is the 2 LBX-5s and a bunch of medium lasers. And I just said it didn't have... whatever.
Yeah. It's okay. You're tired. I'm thinking the Cauldron Born actually could replace the Timberwolf in certain drop decks, and which would stick with its canon lore. The Ebon Jaguar was produced first by Smoke Jaguar to to replace the Hellbringer, which they didn't have adequate supply of. But uh, towards the latter life of Smoke Jaguar, before they were destroyed, the Cauldron Born was utilized also as a replacement for the Timberwolf because they couldn't get supplies of Timberwolves, and the Jaguar warriors liked it as a replacement for the Timberwolf, even though it was 10 tons lighter. The firepower was comparable, the speed was comparable, armor is slightly less, but the way that the Cauldron Born sat, it is much shorter than the Timberwolf. It's a squatty little mech. And for the heavies, it is wider because of the way the arms sit, but it was considered to be a benefit that it's more of a low profile mech than the Timberwolf was. So many clan mech warriors really liked it in that regard, especially because the Timberwolf Mad Cat head is such an ubiquitous design that the Inner Sphere easily recognizes it when they see it, especially those big blocky missile pods. It gives it away when the Mad Cat tries to hide. You just look for those on most of the configurations, the missile pods, and you know exactly where that Mad Cat is. The Cauldron Born, on the other hand, is much more low slung in terms of its overall design. The missile pods on it are smaller. They don't carry as much firepower, but they don't give away the mech's position as easily as it does on the Timberwolf.
Yeah, one of the things I will, and because I'm actually really excited to see the Cauldron Born, is one of the things that I was somewhat about the art. Like, my biggest critiques from the art, the hard points and stuff like that, I think it's fine. It's one of those mechs that it's going to be doing the same thing on almost every build because just of how the hard points are. Because almost every single one has, or I shouldn't say almost every single one, but most of them have ballistics available in every part of it. Except for, I think, the B is all energy.
Yeah, but the B's scary. That thing, I mean, 2 ERPPCs, 2 large pulse lasers, 2 medium pulse lasers, and a tag laser, plus an active probe. That thing is going to be, I believe the canon write-up for that variant is the best forward observer ever created, is the tagline on it. And looking at that, yeah, that makes sense. It's, it can deal damage at range. It can get in your face and, put the hurt on. And all the while, it's going to have that tag laser up. So in clan units that that specialize in that long-range missile fire, the Cauldron Born is going to be their go-to heavy, probably, to help spot and bring that missile fire down accurately and just ruin someone's day. So I would not be surprised to see a Cauldron Born, a B variant, running alongside a Hellbringer and a Timberwolf as forward observers, getting into the brawl, mixing it up, while 2 or 3 Warhawks stand off at range, just raining missiles down onto anyone that is stupid enough to get in range.
Yeah, definitely. And not only that, if you add on the, I think again it also comes down to quirks, because that all depends on what pod you put on. But if you put on the A's left torso, you get an extra energy slot on there as well, so you'll be able to put one more laser on there, which it obviously needs. But on top of that, I just want to say that I kind of was hoping that it would have the offset cockpit and then what looks to be like that vent on the side, on the left, or I should say, yeah,
Oh, I
think it's the
hated that from
right.
MechWarrior 4.
Yeah, I
That's-
love that.
God,
it was so stupid, but it was endearing.
That wasn't, as you said, that was stupid. That's not endearing. That's just stupid looking. I'm sorry. I'm an old school, MechWarrior fan. When I looked at, all the old, the original TRO art, even the newer TRO art for the Cauldron Born, I just sat there scratching my head. Where the hell did they get this offset cockpit from for MechWarrior 4? But then, for MechWarrior 4, I said that for a lot of the configurations and mech designs of who came up with this, who okayed this. This thing is not even close to what this mech should be.
That's the heat sink, bro.
That's the heat sink.
Yeah, it's one heatsink.
Yeah, it's made by NVIDIA.
I'm sorry, a heatsink that big? No, that's definitely an AMD heatsink. I'm sorry, right there.
Of course, we got the Shadow Cat, i.e., going to be the best medium light mech, the best medium clan mech in the game, and by that I mean I'm calling it now.
I don't know. I don't think the Shadow Cat's replacing the Stormcrow anytime soon, but it's
I'm just having some fun. But yeah, well, for 10 points lighter, if you really need to squeeze something out of your deck, I mean,
I definitely think it's going to be replacing the Ice Ferret in
a
number of drop decks. For the same tonnage.
Even then, I could see it depending on how the jump jets work because it's all variables and whatnot. It could actually become a pretty good jump. So I could see it taking the same role as how the Blackjack used to be, with one Gauss rifle or 120 jump jets, couple lasers, then just stand behind a ridge, jump jet up, Gauss, back down, rinse, repeat.
Yeah, it's
and then if someone starts moving in on you, I mean, you got that top speed of 97.2, and then you got mask on top of that. You're going to be moving around pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think the mask speed puts it to like 126, 130 almost. So yeah, it's going to be able to get out of dodge pretty quickly and escape anything except for a light mech. I mean, an Intersphere light that is running 150. I think that's what it's going to have to be. Keeping an eye out for is 2 or 3 light mechs from the Intersphere jumping it. If that happens, it doesn't have the speed to escape, and it doesn't have the firepower necessarily to stay alive. Though that being said, looking at the different omnipods, I can easily see someone tweaking the B variant, getting rid of those LRMs and putting streaks on there. So maybe it will be a very effective light killer, because that's the not only would that be a streak variant, but it would also carry an ECM suite in the left torso. So it would be able to sneak up. It'd be able to counter any inner sphere ACM, those spiders. It'd be able to jam the ECM and get a lock on. It also carries an active probe. So, good lord, that thing's definitely going to be a light killer right there. So I doubt it's going to keep a lot of those LRMs. Those are definitely going to get switched out for streaks.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Speaking of fast mechs that could outrun the Shadow Cat, let's segue into the Arctic Cheetah. Definitely the fastest. I think it is the fastest light clan mech so far at 129.6. Still not as fast as some of those fire starters and stuff like that, but it is going to be noticeable. I think this guy is going to be the go-to guy. I think it's a combination of the hard points that it presents, as well as its speed. I think you can see basically somewhat the equivalent of the fire starter for the clans, because you got jump jet still. Let me just do a quick thing here, see how many energy I could fit onto a mech. 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, it's going to be able to carry 6 energy if you optimize all the hard points correctly. So yeah, it could definitely be something of interest. because all you have to do is put six medium pulse and a couple heat sinks, and you're good to go.
It's probably going to be the clan answer to the fire starter. Not as fast, but one of those side torsos, the left torso carries ECM, so that's going to be a big benefit for it. The big thing, I've heard a lot of people saying, this will allow the clans to do the light rush that the Inner Sphere has been doing. And that the clans have been, complaining left, right, and center about, that Inner Sphere just light rushes them and they can't do anything about it, which we all know is complete and utter BS because, you throw a couple streak mechs in there and those light rushes get chewed up pretty darn quickly. The Arctic Cheetah, while it's not going to be as fast as the Inner Sphere light rush. You get 12 of those things running 130 kph roughly, jumping left, right, up, down, everywhere. Yeah, they're going to be agile. They're going to definitely, be hard to hit. They're going to bring a good amount of firepower. It will. I don't know if it's going to be a perfect counter or similar to the Inner Sphere light rush, but it's going to be far closer to it than what the clans have currently. The big problem is going to be, what does the Inner Sphere do to counter it? The Inner Sphere does not have the same streak capability that the clans do.
Definitely not.
Yeah, they might have to rely on the counter light rush. Just one gigantic 24 mech light furball running everywhere over a map, just beating the hell out of each other. That'll make matches very interesting if that turns out to be the case.
And I think the Prime is also ECM capable.
Yeah, the left torso Omnipod is ECM.
Yeah, so that's going to be, again, like you're saying, 12 of those ECM, 6 medium pulse. It's going to be interesting times.
It's going to be 5. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, because if you switch out that, the left torso to include the ECM, it's only going to be 5. But there's, which fire starter is it? The S. The S is you can run 6 or 5. Most people run 5 medium pulse instead of the 6 because of the heat issue. But considering that you're replacing that one energy slot with ECM, that's more than a fair trade-off. So it's definitely going to be able, it's better than the Spider, I'm going to say. Not as fast, but you don't need to be to carry, with the fact that you're carrying ECM and more firepower. Yeah, the trade-off in speed is worth it, I'd say. The big question is going to be, how well it stacks up to the Firestarter. Firestarter is going to be faster. Yeah, it doesn't have ECM, but it might not matter if the Firestarter's a good 30 kph faster than it. That means it's going to be able to outpace the Arctic Cheetah, escape it if as needed. The jump jets on the Cheetah are going to be hard locked, so it is going to be a better jumping mech. It's going to have greater distance and greater height. But we saw that with the Mistlynx. The Mistlynx is, the only mech that probably comes close to the jump capabilities of the Mistlynx is the Spider, and that really doesn't matter a whole lot. You don't see Mistlynx, you do see Mistlynx fly across the battlefield, but they're like shooting skeet. You don't do that usually more than once.
You talking shit about my Mistlynx?
Yes, I am, Cattra. No rational person, runs off the top of HPG to fly across to the outer structure like that through the air, because they know
next gen tactics. I will defend that to the death. That is next gen tactics. That is.
Yeah, that's not next gen tactics. That's skeet shooting.
Let's move on to the next I'm gonna let this podcast run over. I don't even care. We got topics and I want to talk about. Yeah. So let's talk about how Russ was on Twitter talking about how he wants someone to suggest a heavy intersphere mech which has ECM. I then went to the Reddits and started swinging a big stick around saying the hammer hands, and then he clarified saying he wanted a existing heavy mech, and then I still kept swinging a big stick saying the hammer hands. But heavy intersphere mech with ECM. What's your guys' thoughts? You could suggest a mech. You could consider if it's something that's needed.
Just some clarification. When he said existing, does he mean existing in the game already?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd go with a Thunderbolt. Let put ECM on the Hero Thunderbolt. We don't have a Hero Thunderbolt. That's a perfect mech to throw it on. It's an Intersphere heavy. It's 65 tons. It'll drive the clan players crazy because they already hate the Thunderbolt with its Intersphere quirks. You throw ECM on that thing as well, they are gonna lose their shit.
Well,
They should probably put it on something that's not utilized very much and make that mech more appealing to use.
I was about to say that. I believe that the Cattra has a canon ECM variant, which is in Timeline. So
Does it?
I think so.
I think that one is might have been a prototype. I don't think it's actually. Let me check Sarna quick.
That's what I'm doing right now. There's two of them. The 4L. Oh, it's 3060. Whatever.
Yeah, 4L's way off.
And the 5D. But that's light fusion.
Yeah, that's way off. There.
And there's a actual custom variant. Hero mech.
Yeah, it's the.
Durin Jihad. Whatever. Point is that it has ECM. Just do it, or give me my hammer hands, or get out of the way.
I'm thinking Thunderbolt, man. We don't have a hero, as I said. We don't have a hero mech for it yet. You want to create a hero mech. Thunderbolt.
Well, I think the problem with giving it to the Thunderbolt would that it would just make an already top tier mech even more top tier. I'd rather give it to something that's not being used as much to maybe bring it up as well.
It won't be a hero. They won't give ECM to a viable hero.
Oh no, definitely.
The Locust got it because it's a Locust.
Yeah. Then let's see what else we have in the Orions. Yeah, I could see it on Orion. That you could hand wave that away as one of these Star League prototype projects that's got put into production in face of the clan invasion. I don't see it getting thrown on the catapult. That catapult would be odd to have ECM on. Quick draw.
I'm 1,000 meters away and you still can't see me, bro.
Yeah. Well, quick draw. I could see it on the quick draw. Yet the Jaeger mech. I could see it on the Jaeger as well.
They don't even need a canon ECM variant. The Atlas DDC does not come with ECM. They don't even need a new variant. They can take an existing variant and just give it an ECM module slot and it's done.
What about the Dragon? Dragon could use some love.
Oh yeah. The Dragon?
As long as it's not on the AC5 version.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I could see the Dragon getting it. But I would say quick draw Orion. Yeah, I would go quick draw Orion and Dragon as the best three. I'm gonna throw the Jaeger off of that list because the Jaeger, as it stands right now, with the DD being the chainsaw, the other variants being Gauss snipers or AC-20 boom Jaegers, I don't really think they need ECM added on to them. That would be a bit overkill. So yeah, Orion, Dragon, and Quick Draw would probably be the best three if we're looking for a balanced heavy to get it. That'll throw it on the Grasshopper. I
7K.
But yeah, no. If they were to actually, instead of putting out a new variant, to put out a new mech, I would say go with the Hammerhands, because I know everyone wants the Warhammer, but they can't do the Warhammer for obvious reasons. You give us the Hammerhands.
You really want that hammer hands?
I want the hammer. Well, here's what I've always, well, again, everyone wants the Warhammer, but again, as stated, they can't actually do the Warhammer again for reasons that I'm sure we're all pretty aware of. But what they could do is use, I believe in the court case, they said that the Warhammer loadouts and stuff like that are actually BattleTech properties, and those aren't disregarded, anything like that. So what they could do, because the Hammerhands is technically older, they could just hand wave the Hammerhands as being something, or the Warhammer away as something that was never actually made, and be able to, like, the loadouts, because I think the Warhammer's lighter.
The Warhammer is 5 tons lighter.
Yeah, so they could just say, well, the Hammerhands was continued in production, no Warhammer project ever happened, and then just use the loadouts from the Warhammer on the Hammerhands as alternative loadouts.
Well, even that, not even that. I mean, the Hammerhands and the Battle Axe were the 2 mechs that inspired the Warhammer. You could easily hand wave a variant of the Hammerhands with the loadout of the Warhammer that everyone in, who's a BattleTech lore nerd knows and loves. Hand wave it as saying, that was a prototype build on the Hammerhands that was used as the test bed for what would later become the Warhammer. So it's easy to hand wave something like that in.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised that Catalyst has not done that yet.
Because they're reasonable people, probably. Not
because
sputtering
they're good people deep down inside.
fanboys.
Well, I'm saying they could do that to reintroduce the Hammerhands farther up the timeline and not have to worry about lawsuits over the Warhammer as much, though.
And they'd still get all that sweet fanboy money.
There was a glimmer of hope recently, though, that we might have seen the unseen. The Harmony Gold mechs actually get implemented because Harmony Gold had sold media rights to those designs to Sony for the potential Robotech movie, but apparently it's only for the Robotech movie. Everything,
Yeah, I was about to say they're just
so,
leasing out the rights, almost like with such as PGI having the MechWarrior game license. Like it's probably
so it's not Sony is not the full owner of those rights now.
No,
they're just leasing
Harmony
them.
Gold, the famous property management firm, is still patent trolling. So, because I mean, they recently went to court with Transformers as well.
Yes.
All right, so
I think they lost that case.
yeah, they did.
I think Hasbro
Hells, did you get your word in? I'm trying to remember if you did or not.
I did. I was talking about the Grasshopper having ET.
Right.
7K.
I think the Grasshoppers and all that are too new, because I mean I don't even think they're out for C-bills yet. So I don't think you would see those getting again. Never know. They could like Shimmering was saying, they could just add the ECM spot somewhere on the mech. So you could do the Grasshopper, I guess.
The only other one's the Quick Draw 5MR.
Yeah. Quick draw. I can see the quick draw, fast little mech. I if I had to give it to one, I'd give it to either the Dragon or the quick draw, because they even after quirks, they still need love.
Yeah.
I definitely would say the quick draw over the Dragon. Just you don't see the quick draw used as much as the Dragon. The Dragon is, especially what is it, the 5N that's got the AC5 quirks.
Dragon has its place, doesn't it? Like it's got the ballistic.
Well, remember that ECM mechs aren't used because of the ECM all the time. Like the Hellbringer is used because it's a good mech, regardless. The DDC, on the flip side, is not used because it's not a good mech anymore. It needs to be a good mech and have ECM. It needs to be like a Hellbringer.
ECM makes it better mech, though.
So I would go with Hell's suggestion of a grasshopper with ECM.
Hell yeah, I could dig that.
I don't know. We could throw it on the quick draw, and that would explain why the quick draw is bigger than it should be. It's all that it's that ECM on it, man. ECM adds 10 pounds or 10 tons, I should say.
Let's move on. We're going really long tonight. I don't even care. Lack of hero mechs lately. We haven't had a hero mech in what, 3 months? Something like that?
Last hero mech that came out was what, the Shadowhawk and Locust.
Pirate's Bane. Yeah, the Locust and the Shadowhawk. Yeah.
So yeah, looking at the sheet, I believe there are 3 Inner Sphere mechs that still don't have a hero. That being the Wolverine, the Thunderbolt, and the King Crab. Those are the 3. Besides, I'll preface that by saying, besides the ones that have been just recently released in the Inner Sphere reinforcements package, of course, those 4 do not have a hero mech. They don't even have a champion yet. But the Thunderbolt has its champion, so it goes to reason that it should be getting a hero at some point. The Wolverine is supposed to be getting a champion, actually, I think in the April 21st patch is when it should be released. Yes, it's on the roadmap there. Wolverine champion, April 21st patch. So I'm thinking that the Wolverine or Thunderbolt should be the next hero mech.
I would love to see the Wolverine as the next hero mech. I don't know what it would do differently. Most of the Wolverines are...
I know what it'll do.
Yeah.
It'll have large pulse laser quirks.
Hell yeah. We'll call it something Tuesday. I don't know. Hell yeah. I'd totally be down for bringing back the Wolverine as a hero mech. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would be pissed off.
Because remember the very first hero, the Yin Lo?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
They removed the AC-20 Hunchback and then re-injected it as the hero.
Hunchback? You got...
Centurion, yeah.
I'm disappointed in you, Shimmering.
Hey, too many mechs.
Too many mechs.
First world problem. Actually thinking about it, the way you could put the Wolverine in there, and instead of having all those laser points in the one arm, split them between both arms. That way you don't have a shield arm. You'd have to choose. Do you cut your firepower in order to have a shield arm, or do you keep the majority of your firepower and sacrifice the shield arm and have to redistribute your armor to properly cover both of them?
What else would you throw on there for hard points? Because that'd only be 4. Every single Wolverine has 6 hard points. So, like, for example, the 6K has 5 energy, 1 missile. The 6R has 3 missile, 2 ballistic, 1 energy. And the 7K has 3 missile, 3 energy. So there'd be 2 more. We could go all energy.
Let's put 2 energy hard points in both arms. That's 4. Of course, we've got the head laser. Wolverines always have to have their head laser, so that's 5.
1 CT.
I don't know about CT. I might go left and right torso with. Let's go with ballistics there. We already have missiles, so in a couple of in each variant. So let's go with ballistics there. We'll throw machine guns onto it, and dual AMS. Left and right torso, dual AMS.
I could see it all almost like the Sparky. I could almost see a it would be almost like an exact clone of the Sparky. It'd be like the whole Y factor.
But instead of you'd have those machine gun. Let's go 2 ballistic slots in each side torso, and so it has 4 machine guns. 2 large lasers, 2 medium lasers, 4 machine guns, medium laser in the head, and the potential for 2 AMS.
I'll put that right on the dartboard with the other mechs people come up with, and then I'll just throw the dart on it, because that's how we do hero mechs apparently. So.
But Thunderbolt also needs a hero, so that's one I have no idea what you would do a hero for it, because
no matter what, you lose.
No matter what, you're either going to make something that's great, that people are going to really love and others are really going to hate, or one that is just panned by everybody. So it's a Thunderbolt.
And the problem with Thunderbolt is that
right
most of them
is...
already do everything. Like, you already got your ballistic ones, you already got your... Well, you don't really have a missile one, but a missile one on a Thunderbolt you wouldn't do anyways. And then the rest are already energy boats, so it's like, yeah, you can't really win-win with that one.
Maybe a heavier ballistic version. Instead of having the ballistics in the arm, throw that the ballistic into the right torso, put it in that shoulder slot. That have a giant, cannon there as the giant round hump instead of the giant round missile launcher on the there. So
I could dig that.
That way you'd keep, you could throw a Gauss rifle there, and you'd have a heavier sniper version. No, that'd be a heavier sniper version of the gridiron. So, yeah, that's a tough one. Trying to figure out. Hero mech for the Thunderbolts. No wonder they haven't released one yet. That's tough trying to figure out what to do with it. What do we have in the lore for it? I have no idea.
Tusarna.
Yeah, Tusarna. Let's see. Whew. Oh man, there are a lot of variants.
Yeah, well, Thunderbolt's old, bro.
Yeah, Thunderbolt's old. It's also got
you got 3 custom variants.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got here.
The tall man is probably too close to the way the 5 SS is. The Ilyana is not in
you do got a custom variant with ECM.
Yeah, you've got but he's easily into Jihad era there. He's got stealth armor and plasma rifles.
Yeah, this is the chance to advance the timeline.
That's not advance. That's a jump. That's like whiz kids jumping into the Jihad, into the Dark Age and skipping the Jihad, and all the Mech Warrior fanboys going, "What the hell just happened? Where are we? What happened? What's this Jihad that we're being told about?" I don't know. Yeah, Thunderbolt 1. That's tough.
And our final topic, which Thermal Scorpion just linked, is actually the new quirks that were announced for clans. Revisions as well as new ones, both. So, for example, the Mistlinks, the Kit Fox, the Nova, and the Warhawk all received new quirks. And the Adder, the Ice Ferret, the Summoner, the Gargoyle all received revised quirks. Speaking of which, I want to take a look at the Gargoyle real quick. I haven't looked at it yet. I want to know if my arm survived. But yeah, no, most from what I've been reading and stuff like that, most of the quirks have been slight increases. There's a couple decreases. One of note is that there is a jam percentage quirk on the Nova, I believe. Something like a minus 30.
Yes. On the
UAC jam quirk.
Yeah, on the Nova B variant. UAC velocity and UAC jam chance. Whoa, 30%. That's nice.
Yeah, especially on a clan mech where you can throw on big UACs. Like, it's gonna be interesting.
Who you just posted up in the general area. Watch that.
Sorry.
Yeah, there's some good ones there. I like the little note about the ice ferret losing the additional torso twist because bad things happened. If anyone did not get a chance to see it, sometimes the ice ferret, because it could torso twist beyond 180 degrees, it would literally glitch the mech out, the model, and suddenly the upper torso would just spin around constantly. It was similar to
Urban
what
Mech prototype.
Yeah, basically it was the Urban Mech video, except the model would shift around in game, and the pilot would basically get thrown outside of it. He'd be thrown into basically a long range third person view most times when that happened. So it's that was not something that people enjoyed. So it's probably a good thing that that's getting completely taken out. They're not even going to bother trying to keep that quirk and fix it. That's just gone.
It's the Death Blossom eject system.
Yeah, the Death Blossom eject system. Oh, there's some good quirks on here.
The Kid Fox got a ton of quirks. I'm just looking over them now. Some structure quirks. The S and the C got ER large laser quirks. With the C variant getting a combination of -5% heat gen. So
I like that they're giving leg options. You can choose more armor or different types of mobility buffs.
Finally, something for those pesky leg omnipods that make a difference for once. Not just like, I'm going to put legs on my mech because.
Yeah. I also like one of the things they're doing is the sets of 8 that new quirks. Some of the quirks are by omnipod, and then there's the set of 8 quirks that if you have all 8 of those
default, you actually get another bonus incentive besides better earnings.
So some of them, I mean, there's, Nova gets overheat damage -5% on the prime for keeping all of them. So maybe if you actually alpha, it doesn't nuke it. I don't know. Does 5% say would that 5% save it? It would just shut it down, and would it restart and just have a red internal CT from that instead of blowing up immediately?
I'm not sure, but I just noticed that my gargoyle got a bit better. It gained a LBX spread -5%, which doesn't sound like a whole lot, but if you're using with it's already plus 10% on the cooldown and plus 10% on velocity on LBX.
LB20, that'd be a pretty significant good thing.
Yeah, I run a 20 already. Actually, if you use the right arm as well, you get another -5% spread and another plus 10% velocity and another plus. So you can have plus 20 velocity, plus 20 cooldown, and -10 spread on like an LBX 20.
But then you can't have that laser fist with
right? No, you wouldn't be able to do laser fist with that, unfortunately.
Yeah, you'd have like 2 larges in the center or something like that, maybe.
Yeah. BRB just getting a 20 gauge shotgun. I also noticed that the Gargoyle C has the -30% UAC jam chance as well added to it. So the Gargoyle's actually getting some love. Acceleration for the Gargoyle's getting increased. The Gargoyle looks like it's actually becoming a contender. I like it.
It needs it. It's when I see that mech in CW, I just laugh it off as it melts away.
Yeah, I especially like seeing the gargoyles that the ghost bears like to bring, because they almost always use the ghost bear camouflage scheme. So I refer to him usually as Frosty the Snowman, because he melts pretty damn quickly. He's if he's got the laser fist, yeah, he can surprise you and put the hurt on. But most of the other ones, they're pretty much of a joke at this point for an assault mech. Yeah, so
the
quirks
Summoner
are
C
nice.
also got some love. The C variant, it got the minus 30 UAC jam chance as well, and ballistic cooldown plus 10%.
Wow. I mean, minus 30%, isn't that like the entire percentage of jam? Like,
the way I understand it, because Mike Frost made a post on Reddit. Let me link it here.
Is it minus 30% of the 25% jam chance?
Yeah, I think it's something like that. So it reduces it to like a 10.5% chance of jamming, which still is like
baller,
really good.
I'm gonna put UAC 20s on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, even with, because as I was saying, it gets a UAC fire rate increase as well. If you even maybe not even like a 20, put like a 10 or something like that on it, and you'll just be able to just fire all day and have more ammo. So
I'm looking at some of these quirks just in general. There are some new quirks here that we could start seeing, in revisions, both to, on the Inner Sphere side as well. I mean, there's a Narc quirk on the Kit Fox, the Narc range and Narc effect duration quirks. Start to see, with these quirks listed as they are, I'm thinking PGI is starting to get a bit, bit more imaginative with their quirks, getting a wider range of them. I mean, there's AMS quirks listed on a couple of these, not just general energy quirk. There's actually a general pulse laser, couple general pulse laser quirks, just pulse laser duration, and pulse laser heat generation, so specifically for pulse lasers instead of just saying energy. So there's a number of new quirks on here that we could easily start seeing implemented in the next Inner Sphere quirk pass. So some of the mechs that we all know and love could be getting switched around, having increases in some areas and decreases in others as they get a more specific type of quirk added to them rather than just major general quirks. Well, did you see the one on the Ice Fair? There's an LRM spread quirk and an SRM spread quirk. That's new.
Could be really interesting. I think we've gone about an extra 40 minutes. I think it's time to wrap up the podcast. Thank you everyone for showing up. Thank you for participating, and we will see you hopefully next week. So thank you for listening to the Armored Combat Escalation Service podcast. This is Brandon, also known as Cattra Kell. I want to thank everyone that showed up today, even though I've already said that, but specifically to the people who are sitting in this lobby right now, such as Pooh, Shimmering Sword, Tierkron, Dead Metal 89, Hell's Dog, Necrometer, Pro Lynx, and Thermal Scorpion. I don't think there's anyone else that popped in during there, but if I forget you, thank you as well for showing up, and take care, Mech Warriors.